welcome to Ring Talk. Myself, Martin Theobald, and Steve Bunkbeds Goodwin.
They're not my bunk beds.
I like it. You're taking Trish away to the bunk beds for the weekend.
It's the only room that I can get a bit of peace and quiet in, so I've sheltered out in here for half an hour.
You're away in Cornwall?
Yeah, down here for a week. Nice break. You know, to get back reinvigorated next week. It's going to be busy, but we've got busy things to do. I mean, we're getting ready now for the reopening of boxing, which we believe is imminent. So we're going to get that structured. There's so much going on behind the scenes in the boxing world. So there's lots to do. And obviously I'm busy doing the financial side as well. So thought it was a good time to have a week's break and then go back rejuvenated and ready to really crack on over the next couple of months.
So you're having a proper break? Because I know what your breaks are normally like.
Proper break. No clients, no nothing, no anybody's. And apart from doing this, and I spoke to a couple of people today, but generally, yeah, a total break from everything because I'm feeling better already. I just needed a recharge. And as we just spoken about off camera, there's just so much happening in boxing that you just need to be really, really focused and ready to go for what changes come, you know. So, and on top of everything else, so we just want to, but I needed a recharge, and this is all this is about, really.
Nice. Well, we'll keep it nice and short because aside from what happened at the weekend, there's fuck all else to discuss. So let's start with the weekend. Billy Joe Saunders. Did he quit? Let's start there.
Right,
get out of the way.
No, let's talk about this. I don't know if you'll agree with me, but let me firstly say by saying that they did the right thing.
100%.
They did the right thing, and yes, he quit. But it's okay to quit. The problem that we have here is we have a fighter who has said some very bad things in the past, especially about Daniel Dubois and people like that. Daniel Dubois was also right to quit. It doesn't make them a quitter. It makes them sensible and doing the right thing in life. So there's nothing against him. But if you're going to make these slanderous comments about people and their lack of manhood or whatever it is, sometimes karma comes back to bite you in the bum. And that's what's happened to him. And then you get people defending him. Yes, he's right, but he's only getting the backlash because of how he's behaved and what he has said before. What he done was the right thing. Mark Tibbs has done absolutely the right thing. They protected him. God Almighty, he was going to lose the fight anyway. What is the point of sending him out to take what could be life-changing punishment? So that's the end of it. Yes, he quit, but it was the right thing to do.
And there's a stigmatism around quitting that isn't, and this really annoys me actually, it isn't built by fans, in my opinion. It's not fans. You might get the odd troll on boxing Twitter who, you know, call someone a quit or whatever, like somebody with a faceless account, whatever. You can kind of discard that. But the stigmatism to me comes from people like Billy Joe Saunders that call out Daniel Dubois for quitting. And then you ended up with Edgar Berlanga calling out Billy Joe Saunders for quitting. And then, I don't know, say in 3 years' time when Berlanga actually ends up in a real fight, if he ends up quitting, then somebody will bring back all the comments he made about Billy Joe Saunders.
It's all caused by boxers on boxers, all of it.
I think
it's okay to stop fighting when you can't fight anymore and you can't do anymore or you're too damaged to carry on doing anymore. It's okay. It's normal. How many times do you see a fighter go down, knocked down in a fight, and you might say he's quit, but you know he's not made every intention to get up. He's quitting. He's had enough. He's saying, look, the better man's won. I'm quitting. It's okay. It's not a bad thing. It's boxers that make it a bad thing. I totally agree. But at the end of the day, it was the right decision. But unfortunately, he's made a lot of enemies with what he's done in the past. And by the way, Daniel Dubois sent a message on Twitter to him that I thought was full of class, wishing him the best the rest up. That's class.
Yeah. And I think you end up with more people in boxing criticising fans for criticising boxers that quit than you actually have fans that criticise boxers who quit. Fans don't give a shit. Fans are okay with that concept that because You know, we're levels below the likes of Billy Joe Saunders for our bravery, for our ability to get into the ring, all these things. Billy Joe Saunders surpasses anything that I or you or a boxing fan could ever do in terms of getting into that ring and fighting. The fact that he couldn't take any more against Canelo, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. And actually, it's the purest form of victory for me. Like making another man say, no, I don't want any more. That's almost as good as actually knocking them clean out.
Although it was the corner that stopped it on a technicality, it wasn't him that decided the corner stop, but they knew, and it was the right decision. But yeah, no, I agree.
There was no protesting from Billy Joe, and I wouldn't expect there to be, because he knew how his face felt. And, you know, the aftermath of it justifies exactly that reaction.
Not many fighters recover from those injuries, though.
Especially when they've got...
Kell Brook never came back from it. I don't know many fighters, I don't know any that have come back from that sort of injury before and resurrected their career and gone back to the highest levels. I don't know. I think it may be the end because I think it's very hard to come back from that injury. And it's going to be something that's it's there for a long time. It's a serious injury. My God, it's a serious injury. Thank God he's got his eyesight and everything else.
Especially when you've got millions of pounds in the bank as a result of it. What's the incentive to get back and do it all over again?
I agree. He can retire now. He's made for life now. He's made for life.
Nobody could blame Billy Joe Saunders. We went and retired now on the back of that and said, thank you very much. 2-weight world champion, lost to the best of my generation. That's fine. No problem with it. But as I say, the criticism that he would be due is due from his own making of criticising others in the past and some of his behaviour. Let's be honest. Like, if you're going to go around behaving like Billy Joe has in the past to certain individuals in and out of boxing, then you can expect your comeuppance when it falls apart. That's my view of it. But all of that takes away from Canelo is just the best to watch, and he's so enjoyable. Like,
you're not been listening to some of his stuff when he's talking English now. He's a good character as well, isn't he?
He is. When he had Andrade in the press conference afterwards. Yeah, he's brilliant. But great to watch in the ring. Just he's the rare example of a fighter that defends while walking forwards. He doesn't defend always on the back foot. He defends while stepping in. That's incredible. Like, such a skill set.
Great fighter.
How did you have it when it was stopped?
I was watching it with Alan. We were watching it down here. And I think from memory, we had Canelo up by 2, I think, at the time of stoppage. I find it hard. And I think you might have had it by 1. I mean, you get these fanboys, and I had Billy Joe Saunders miles ahead, and it's nonsense. It's just they're not watching boxing from. Look, what we were doing, I was scoring the fight as firstly as I saw it, and I think I had him 2 down. I scored it as I thought Las Vegas would score it, and I had him 4 down, I think, because every time I thought he just won a round, I was giving it to Canelo on that second card. But I think genuinely he was 1 or 2 down at the time. I think it was 2, but 1 or 2 down. But I had him 4 down on the what I would believe they'd score it. So it was pretty much as between what the one judge gave to what the 2 gave, depending on whether you were giving Canelo everything you could or you were scoring fairly. But he was losing, and it was exactly as I thought. I thought he would give trouble early and bounce, but he didn't have the power to hurt him. It's exactly as we said, and he'd be either stopped later on or it would be a wide points decision by the end, because Canelo would have come out and he'd have won the last. Even if Billy Joe had not been injured, he was going to come and win those rounds anyway, which is exactly as we saw it. But you know what? The problem with Billy Joe at that level was he doesn't have the power to put. And that's his undoing. At the highest level in boxing, you have to have the power. We can see good kids at Southern Area level. You put them in a Southern Area title fight, which is their world title. If they don't have power, they come up short.
Yep. And I'm not even convinced. You know, Billy Joe's not a super middleweight.
He's a middle. I agree.
And he's there by convenience of the fact they could nick a world title at super middle. He should never have been there. you know, him fighting Canelo at middleweight is possibly, well, it would be more advantageous to him, but it would still be the same outcome.
Yeah. So,
And
but listen, he's made his life-changing money. Good luck to him.
yeah,
Good luck. Good luck
yeah,
to him. They all deserve, anybody getting into the ring deserves to make as much money as they can, and hopefully he's going to be wise with it. Hopefully he'll enjoy his. If he does retire, he'll enjoy his retirement. If he comes back, hopefully he'll have a successful comeback, and hopefully it'll teach him a lesson, a life lesson about what to say and what not to say, and what to do and what not to do.
yeah. What you started alluding to earlier about fanboys and the reaction to the scorecards, I was like, get a grip. Like, he wasn't winning that fight. I don't care what Gareth A. Davis says. I don't care what Umar at IFL says. I don't care about any of it. He was not winning that fight. And so to kick off about the scorecards is churlish at best and ridiculous at worst. Just accept it for what it was. Canelo was going to win the fight one way or the other.
But he put up a good fight. He put up a fight, but he was never winning. He was always, he didn't have the power to hurt him. And he wasn't going to be able to move at that pace for 12 rounds. It was written before the fight, written. And I said to you last week, I thought the 1-4, 1-5 was outstanding odds because he was a much shorter bet than that. And it was that case. But people trying to make he was winning and he would have won if he wasn't injured. It's just total nonsense.
Yeah.
And you've got to watch boxing. I'm the same when I watch my own fighters in a ring. I do not score fights for my fighters because they're my fighters. I score a fight as I see it, no matter who's fighting. And if you were watching the fight totally realistically, not wanting one to win and not on it, you couldn't have him winning at there's no way. The judge that had it 2 rounds ahead, in my opinion, was absolutely spot on.
Yep. All right. There was nothing on the undercard of any interest outside of Kieran Conway losing on points.
Again, this is another example. Kieran Conway needed more, in my opinion, really exciting talent, needed that little bit more time. He could have been very good, but the model of looking at these fighters now is different now. They're just being pushed into fights.
Yeah.
And he wasn't, again, you know, that's just how it is. He lost the fight. He didn't win.
And it sets him back now. Like, as much as you can say, oh, you know, it's great experience and he'll come back, it sets him back, irrespective of anything else. He lost the fight.
But there's a different model now, isn't it? The model is, from a lot of people, throw your fighters in. Just take the fights and throw them in. My model, I do not see why when you go back to the Frank Warren model, when he was doing it with possibly in the old days, he would build his fighters and they would get the fights when they were ready, not when they were just thrown an opportunity. And that is the ideal way to do it. It
causes frustration for fans, but on the other hand, it helps them build. But on that note, the Sky card this weekend, headlined by Joshua Boatsy against some bloke from France.
Yeah.
Like, what do you make of that in terms of...
What, the whole card or the Joshua Boatsy fight?
Well, I think the two go hand in hand, really. But we'll start with the Boatsy fight. How many years on from the Olympics is he now? 5 years? And we're fighting a bloke from France who... I added up his opponent's records earlier, and it's something like 75 wins, 250 losses. This bloke, I've never heard of him. I don't know who he is. I don't know if he's any good. I'm going to assume he's not. But why have we got Boatsy in this fight? It's one thing saying build them. 5 years down the line, we're still building them.
But I think what you've got now is a slightly different thing. That Eddie has got his fighters that he wants to do that with, and he's got the rest of them, he just throws them in and not that fast. And he's also got the fact that he's leaving Sky for DAZN, and he's got to fulfill his contract for the last couple of shows, and he doesn't want to get any of his ones that he thinks he may want to use on DAZN beaten on a Sky show. He wants to fulfill his contract, move these fighters onto his DAZN platform. That's what he's doing. Why? He doesn't need now to put these fights on. He'll do it in the fight camp or whatever it is, you'll see an improvement of quality of fights, and then it will be fighters will be thrown in again against each other. But at the moment, he's thinking, I need to keep my stable that I want winning to go to zone, because what we don't know about this going forward, and we don't know, is what happens with skyboxing.
Yeah.
Is there a void? Does somebody come in? Does somebody get the chance to come in and really do it properly? In which case, DAZN, in my opinion, still has plenty to prove. And I know Eddie Earn is a mastermind promoter, but the UK market, if it's done right, there could be somebody who comes in and really challenges him, because Sky has got an unbelievable presence that DAZN does not have. And if Sky play it right, then there could be a big challenge to him. So he doesn't want to lose any of his talent at this stage. So Buatsi must be kept undefeated at all costs.
Can I also argue that, I can't remember if I've said it on here before, my view is that in 12 to 18 months' time, Hearn will be doing IFL interviews saying, look how great my DAZN product is against what I had when I was at Sky. Look at those Sky cards when I left. Look how bad they were compared to what I'm delivering now. Pay-per-views for 20 quid with Derek Chisora and Joseph Parker versus £7, £8, £9 a month, whatever the zone will cost at that point, per month for all these fights. Look at the quality difference. I genuinely think that's where we're going to end up with it.
And there's a big question mark whether, in my opinion, and I don't, whether Sky continue boxing. I think. I mean, I haven't spoken to anybody at Sky, but I think there's a question mark, because I don't think they'll run. Sky will go to the people who could do something, and I think they could end up with nothing, or they'll make or they could make a wrong decision, and that's. I mean, these sort of things I'm not going to talk on here. We'll talk about things like this on when we do Ring Talk Live, but certain things you can't say on here. So, you know, by the way, Ring Talk Live will be a phones go in a basket and nobody has any recording. That's for sure.
What's it called? It's Charterhouse rules, isn't it? Where you're allowed to say what was said, but you're not allowed to say who said it.
Correct. And then if you say, I think in reality, we can all have a discussion. It's right to be able, you want it to be a free thing, but you can't say things, you know, I'm not saying we're going to slander anybody, absolutely not, but you can say a bit more of what you think and what you know, but you can say a bit more of what you know, can't you?
No, it's true. We'll come on to that shortly. Let's finish up this Sky card because it'll take all of about 2 minutes. Tommy McCarthy's fighting someone for his European cruiserweight title.
Again, keep Tommy McCarthy free, because you might need to match him with Chris Billum-Smith.
Yeah, Lerone Richards is fighting De Carolis for a European title.
Lerone Richards wins. Lerone is somebody that is supremely talented, but so far not the greatest to watch. But he wins that comfortably on points, probably.
Yeah, Lerone Richards bores me. I'm going to be honest about it. He bores me. He bored me with Frank Warren. He bores me with Eddie Hearn. If you're levels above the opponent you're fighting, try and take them out. Don't sit on a 12-round points victory every time. Like, take a risk. When you know that you're not at risk yourself, go to take your opponent out, because you will not build fans and you bore people. So Lerone Richards...
Lerone, he's a really nice fellow. He's got immense boxing skills, but as he is now, he's never going to make big money from the sport. That's the problem for Lerone. From Lerone's perspective, he won't make the money he should, that his talent would allow him to deserve, because he won't get. I mean, like Coley, for example, has turned it around, hasn't he?
Yep.
But Lerone needs to do the same.
Yeah, 100%. Rest of that card, your five fighting Cunningham, Dalton Smith fighting some. I can't even remember.
The Appleyard one-sided beatdown.
Yeah. I can't even bother to look it up on my phone either, if I'm on. I'm actually not going to watch it, which is the first time in however long.
No, and I genuinely, it's not a good card.
Yeah. Ring Talk Live. So we're going to do this in August.
Yeah.
We haven't decided on a date yet. We're going to work it out around Joshua Fury if that gets announced. But it'll be in August. we're going to
on a Saturday.
On a Saturday. So this is just to give people a heads up. We're going to do it in August on a Saturday, and we want to do it so that it rewards people that have watched this over a period of time rather than people that just rock up, because we appreciate people that want to watch this and people that come to your shows and stuff like that. So we're going to come up with a question that we will set next week that will relate to something Goodwin boxing related that can't be Googled.
Yeah.
And so we haven't quite worked out what that is. And we don't know the date of the Fury Joshua fight. So when all these things come together, we'll set it.
And we're going to have some guests as well. It won't just be me and you. But everybody, the one thing we'll do for the guests is they're not allowed to be politically correct. They've got to answer the questions, as otherwise don't come on, because I think that's what we need to have in boxing is more transparency and honesty. And I think I think that's what that's going to be about. We're going to answer questions that people want to know, inside and outside boxing. We're going to let people have a really good fun evening. There'll be plenty of alcohol. It's going to be in our new, the new log cabin that we've built, the sports bar in my gardens of my house. So people that be coming to my home, they'll be coming to the sports bar, and there'll be a few of us there. There'll be no recording of it. And we'll have a good few beers afterwards, and it'll be a really good fun night. So that's what it's about.
Have you told Trish about this yet?
Yeah, she's cool with it, because it's not. The good thing is it's self-contained from the rest of the home.
Yeah.
So it doesn't impinge on the home. So everybody that's in there, it's got its own toilet facilities, bath facilities, everything. So we can have that without. She can be in the house. It doesn't affect her. She hasn't got people going in to use the toilet or anything like that. So it's all great.
Lock the doors. No one leaves.
Yeah, exactly that.
Turn the Wi-Fi off.
Exactly, and then we'll be exactly that. We'll disconnect everything. No, but I think it's just really good fun, and for those people that want to enjoy a night like that, it will be really, really good camaraderie to meet up. And people, if they want to stay over, it's going to be in Leighton Buzzard, but you can stay up here for about 40 quid, 5 minutes down the road. So it won't. If people want to stay up and make a night of it, they can.
Yeah, so the idea of it is, I mean, look, the boxing community is brilliant. The people you meet within boxing are brilliant. It's an opportunity just for a night. We've not done it. Nobody's done it in boxing for, the best part of, 15 months or so now.
Yeah.
So let's get together and chat boxing and have a good evening and just have a laugh.
That's what it's about, and all meet up. So it's there for everybody to come, especially if you watch. And there's going to be some special, as I say, we'll get some special guests that people can meet from the boxing world as well, and it'll be really good fun. Really good fun.
Look forward to it. Right, let's hit some questions, because I want to free up your time so that you're not.
Can we just turn the light on? It's got a bit dark here. 1 second. There we go.
Much better. Right. So from Beto Q on Twitter, I want to meet Beto Q as well. He sends in questions I'm assuming
he should come. We need 100%. Him to come.
So there are certain ones, right? If you've submitted questions every week, then you don't have to answer the question. You can be on our list.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, we can't have. It is restricted because of space. This isn't open to hundreds of people or anything like that. So, I'd imagine we'll have about 15 or 20 guests. That's it. It's very limited. So that's what we're, that's what we're going to do.
So Beto Q, get in contact. So I want to meet you, whoever you are. Anyway, cool. Number of questions. Has Steve finalised his first card back for July? Any names that can be announced?
No, because July is a provisional card, not a finalised card. And the boxing board are still not announcing any loosening of their restrictions. And that is causing problems for anybody trying to run July. We need to be able to market that show in the next 2 to 3 weeks, but with the board still having bubbles in place, not saying that once the government release it in June, it's causing us a problem. So, and we're not going to run half-hearted. We're going to come back with a bang when we come back. So unless we can get some guarantees about that we can run it, and that we're allowed to, we may have to postpone that one. It's not officially, we've not sold tickets yet for it, so it may be that provisional date won't be able to be fulfilled.
And also, lads need to get in camp, don't they? July is only 8 weeks away.
Yeah, so it may be, but we have got September ready to go. So if we can't get around July, it will be full steam ahead in September, all things being well.
Yeah. Number 2, give me your 3 ideal dinner party guests from the small hall scene down south. Promoters, managers, or trainers?
Promoters, none. You said dinner party. I'm talking about who I would want, who I think could entertain me for 2 to 3 hours. Sam Jones.
Is he down Southeast Derby? He's more Midland.
But he lives in London now, though, doesn't he? So he's sort of.
Yeah.
So Sam Jones, because I find him entertaining. Trainers. Probably Liam Conroy in Luton.
Yep.
Find him really entertaining.
He'd turn up in his big 4x4 as well.
Yeah, he's really good. And who is it? Trainers? Who is it? Promoters? Who was the other?
Managers.
No managers.
What about Frank Warren? Can we have Frank?
I'd like Frank. Yeah, Frank Warren, definitely. I'd have Frank Warren there.
He'd have some good stories for an evening.
Yeah, I'll say Frank Warren is a promoter. Liam Conroy is a trainer. Doesn't affect the other trainers I know. Just Liam is loud and he's, he would fill the. Sam Jones is I think as a manager advisor, I find him the most entertaining.
He's a matchmaker officially.
Oh, is he? Well, whatever he is, he'll do. He's entertaining. He does talk some shite as he knows he does, but he's entertaining and he's got a great backstory for boxing. So
I've got an interview coming out with him soon, which is that'll be out over the next week or so. It's quite interesting.
That's good. No, he's a good guy, Sam.
Number 3, comment on the rumours Steve is in talks with Sky Sports. I'm not sure what these rumours are.
You don't mind. I've had about 4 or 5 people direct message me on social media saying this, and and I know I haven't had any talks with Sky.
I can 100% confirm you've not had talks with Sky. It's not to say there haven't been talks. I'm not saying, but I know for a fact you haven't had them directly with anyone at Sky. But I know there's lots of chatter filling up all the space around what's happening with Sky. But that's different to having conversations with Sky.
Yeah, I think that's a really fair thing. There's been no indication whatsoever that we are wanted by Sky to fulfill any role whatsoever. And that's the best thing I can say. And that's the only thing we can really say. I've said last week, I discussed who I think are the front runners for Sky. I think that may have changed slightly over the last week. I felt Wasserman's, the new powerhouse of football management group are into boxing. I thought they were the front runners with the Sauerlands on board as part consultants. I thought they were the front runners. I still feel that's the case, but I feel if they don't run with them, I think Sky will either quit boxing or I think they may try and resurrect a David Hay, a Ricky Hatton, or Barry McGuigan to be the promoter. Because they like having these name promoters, and that's how I think that's what I think that Sky will probably do. I am not saying that is the right thing to do, and I'm not saying that it would be the correct thing to do, but I think that's my best gut feeling, and I know nothing. Right, this is just my view on it. What do I think Sky should do? I think if they don't want to run with Wasserman and Sauerlands, they should come to us and have proper detailed discussions with us, because I think we could make Sky Sports a phenomenal powerhouse. And by the way, I am not going to say we could do it as well as Matchroom and Eddie Hearn. I'm not going to say that because that would be ludicrous. I'm just saying that I think we could, with the budget, we've run shows without a budget. Give us some money and our professional expertise in all areas, and I think we could do a damn good job for them.
Yep. Oliver McManus. What did Martin make of the reaction to his piece of Anthony Ogogo? Was he expecting that quote to generate so much controversy, and does he think the reaction was fair? So to contextualize this, I did an interview of Anthony Ogogo for a magazine called Square Mile in London. As part of the interview, Agogo said, and this isn't verbatim, this is a bit of a butchering of what was said. Basically, that the fact Rocky Fielding won a world title doesn't sit comfortably with him, in that he never won a world title, because Rocky Fielding was his backup when he was on the GB squad. He was ahead of Rocky Fielding. So the fact that that's kind of what it was that Agogo, as an amateur, was ahead of Fielding. As a professional, Fielding achieved more. That's kind of what was said. Square Mile tweeted it out twice, I think. One of which they used a different quote, and then that one they used about Fielding, which caused a bit of disconsternation. Rocky Fielding kind of, took offense at it, and then Agogo came out and said, he felt like he'd been hard done by in what was quoted from the interview. So that's taking it all at face value and fact. I'm not putting my own flavour on that at all. What do I make of it? Anthony Agogo said those words. It's nothing that was printed nor tweeted was a lie. I didn't tweet out. It was Square Mile, and I speak with the folk there. They didn't write anything that wasn't said in the interview, so I'm not quite sure why anyone would backtrack on what was said. And when I spoke with somebody at Square Mile, I kind of said, well, imagine that was said on IFL. That would be the first headline that would go out. That would be the first, the gritty, meaty part of it would be the absolute headline, not the second or third time they put it out for a bit of traction. So actually, I don't have an issue with what they wrote about it. And obviously Agogo did, and that's fine. I hope he doesn't hold it against me. I didn't have anything to do with it. But yeah, the reaction to it, understandably, from Fielding and other people involved in the sport and his fans was, they were a bit pissed off about it. And Agogo was a bit pissed off about how it had been framed. But those words were said. So I'm not really sure what else you can do about it. That's my view. But I loved Anthony Agogo. And when you were saying earlier about getting boxers to turn up and actually speak their mind, Agogo spoke his mind, and then loads of people kicked off about it.
It's always a problem, though, on social media, isn't it? Because people do it from, he's only saying what he believes about his ability, and he never fulfilled his ability. I don't actually see anything wrong with what he said. I don't see why everybody would, you're saying that when I was an amateur, I was better than Rocky. As a professional, he's outdone what I've done because I got injured. I feel a bit aggrieved that I never had the chance to do that. What's wrong with it? I don't understand why anybody would get upset by it, personally.
No, I agree. I'm not even sure why Fielding would get upset by it personally. I mean, he won his version of a world title. Be happy with that. Agogo never got the opportunity to do that and never fulfilled his potential. Be okay with it. I don't see what everyone's issue is.
I agree.
John Bailey on Twitter, has there been any movement on solving the work visa issues for foreign journeymen? As spoken before, no one wants to pay for a fighter's visa to see other promoters profit off of it.
No, we haven't even looked yet because we're not even in that zone. So it's not something we will look at, but we will try and match UK as far as possible for the opening shows.
Okay. So that will be a conscious effort then, not to go overseas where possible.
At the start, yeah, and it may mean that fighters don't get on. There may be some fights cancelled in the early. So the quicker we get our fighters allocated shows, which we're working on, and the quicker we get them matched up, and the quicker we get the whole situation sorted, the better. We will try and avoid whenever possible, because at the start it's going to be extremely difficult. So we want to get through, but if we have to go abroad, we will, like we always do. But it's not going to be easy at the start until we've got a process in place.
And all these people, Oliver McManus, John Bailey, get in contact about our Ring Talk Live, because these are all people that contribute weekly.
Exactly, we want them there, 100%.
Yeah. Also from John, post-COVID, will small hall promotions noticeably change, or do you think it will revert to type?
I think we'll stay. I don't see any reason to change anything from what we were doing. A small hall, from our point of view, if you can say what could we do better, well, you could have more competitive. You could have even more fights that are competitive, but you have to balance that with the financials of people having to sell tickets and build careers. So, utopia isn't always possible at small hall. If you get the budget from Sky, utopia can happen, but it can't so easily happen at small hall. So, and I feel our product generally was very good. So I think we will take the first ones to get back into it, because it's going to be able to, so the first shows will be getting back into the swing, and then I would imagine that the bigger fights will happen on the second batch of shows.
All right. Anthony Ridley on Twitter. Has Steve heard anything about the Sky boxing deal? Are there any names rumoured to take Hearn's old Sky slots? So I think we kind of touched upon that earlier.
I think I said last week that you've got of the obvious contenders were Wassermans and Sauerlands as a combination, and MTK. I didn't think MTK would get the gig. I thought Sauerlands and Wassermans had a chance. I think if they don't run with them, that I think they're then down. Sky will either pack up boxing or they'll go for a named promoter, which I think is then an error. That I think if they went down that road is an error, a big error. But we can't control that. I think that it's not just because the thing that I try and argue with people, there was an article on British boxing, whatever, and it said, the problem with Steve Goodwin and the Sky deal is he hasn't got the stable because they're really English, maybe the odd British contender. But the only reason we haven't got the money. Give me the money. I'll have world title contenders, European champions, Commonwealth champions, British champions within 12 months. I will have that. Just give us the budget. It's not going to be. It's not a problem. It's how you can organise it, structure it, pull everything together that works. Give me the money. We'll do it. You can't compare what we're doing without TV to say, oh, that's what they would do with TV. No, absolutely not. No, we would build a real top class platform if we could.
Yeah, and it's not to criticise other off-TV promoters, but if you compare your product to other off-TV promoters, consistency-wise, I mean, the odd one might be different, but consistency-wise, yours is levels above any that I can think of. I mean, Carl Greaves puts on good shows, Steffi Ball puts on good shows, Black Country Boxing put on good shows. They all put on good shows, but consistency-wise, over a prolonged period, yours have more high-level fights. Just be mindful.
And the production of the shows as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we do it without TV money. Give us TV money and we'll take it. We'll do what we can to look. Eddie Hearn would be a hard act to follow, but we could work in conjunction with a name if they wanted a name at the top of the head and let us do it. Because the only way that would work, there's no point us following somebody who we believe is we're a better promoter than, and not being able to make the decisions. But if you wanted to have a face, we work with that face, that would work as well.
Yep. Question number 4 from Better Q. This is actually one that I was intrigued about because I wasn't sure about the answer. Is it true Wadi Camacho is returning at heavyweight, and will Steve be managing and promoting him?
Well, I think Wadi likes a bit of attention sometimes. I love Wadi to bits. I hope that it's just attention. He hasn't come to me and said he wants to do it. I can't believe for a second he'd want to do that. But I think people would be interested. Well, he's got a lot of following and tweets on the back of it. He's a great guy. I just hope that's not serious, but he genuinely hasn't come to me and suggested it. I don't see it. I don't think Wadi's got anything left to prove. He had a phenomenal career. He doesn't need to go in as a heavyweight, in my opinion.
Agree. He can come and be security though at Ring Talk Live and come and do some.
I would expect Wadi to be. I would hope, all things being well, Wadi will be there that night.
Come and do talks and do security because I know he. I can't think of anyone better to do it.
Exactly.
From Lead Right, Riku, who also hopefully will come up for this. We've already filled most of the slots. Has the lack of small hall shows skewered the board's rankings to televised fighters due to their activity? So the board don't actually do rankings, do they?
No, they have a championship committee that meets, and you make representations as manager or promoter to that committee, which is headed by Robert Smith. Now, of course, the problem they've got at the moment is there's no point them sanctioning, that when they put out Linus Udofia against Danny Dignam, I had to move heaven and earth to get the finance to stage that fight, which I did. And we put a purse bid in. And obviously they then pulled out Dignam with like seconds to go, which was very frustrating because it wasted a month of my life putting that together for Linus. So we'd rather the board didn't do that until we were in a real position to move ahead. So that hopefully is the case now. And that will be the thing. But a lot of the fighters, if you look at who they've been nominating, they are fighters that are ready to fight and with promotional outfits who have been staging fights. So, yeah, so Small Hall will be there. Going forward, it's going to be interesting because what are they going to do? Because most boxers are going to be inactive, aren't they?
Yeah.
But I would imagine that we'll be able to sort things out fairly quickly. But a lot of fighters will want warm-ups, some won't. You don't know what position different fighters are at, but what we're planning to do this month is speak to every one of our fighters individually, work out exactly what they want and put together a plan and a strategy. And we'll speak to everybody individually this month. I've already texted out all our fighters to say that that's what we'll be doing. And everyone will have a plan by the end of the month.
I can see it being difficult for the board to phase those fights in, as you say, between those that are on TV platforms, those that aren't. How do you time-wise phase that so that everybody gets a fair shot, both at defending and challenging? It's going to be difficult.
And also at the moment, the board still haven't relaxed their bubble rules and haven't said they're going to. So until they do that, we are still stranded.
Yeah. Other part of his question, with many fighters not being active in the past 12 to 18 months, does it mean that older fighters need to take tougher fights quicker to reach their goals?
100%. 100%. Kay Prosper went for European title because he had defended his English title, but he had to take that chance. So 100%, the older fighters are running out of time now. It's taken reality some 18 months to 24 months out of their careers.
Yep.
So yes, without a shadow of a doubt, that has to happen.
Final question, Costella King on Twitter. Evening, Steve. Have you got any regrets on parting ways with Tasha Jonas now that she's a pay-per-view star?
I didn't part ways with Natasha Jonas. She parted ways with me. So for those that don't remember what happened, I'll say it again. And Joe Gallagher got upset last time I told this story, but I actually like Joe and we've done some business together since. But the story, it's just the truth as to what happened. So Tasha was looking for a trainer. She was looking at everybody else, and she suggested going to Joe Gallagher, which we agreed was a good move. And we were doing a big publicity thing at Liverpool to announce she was turning professional. And you know that because you chaired the hearing.
Yeah, I was doing it, yep.
You did it, and Joe was there, and the Smith brothers were in the audience, and the press were there. And we did it. We spent all the money for it because I promised to do it. And 2 days later, I got a call saying, oh, she really wants Joe. It wasn't Tasha herself, it was somebody who represented her saying that she now wanted Joe to manage her. And my comment was, you could have done that before I spent all my money at the press unveiling because it was a bit frustrating. So, but that's what happened. And I released her. And at this point, we were in the middle of, we'd done all the contracts, but I then said, okay, if that's what she wants, that's what she can have. So, I like her. I think she's a lovely girl. And I've got no bad word to say about her. But we haven't spoken since. The last time I spoke to Tasha Jonas, I was managing her.
Yeah.
So I've never actually had a conversation with her since that happened. So, but, I've got nothing else. So do I regret it? No, I don't regret it because, Joe Gallagher's done a very good job with her. And I've got no problems, and I always wish her the best when she's fighting. I hold no grudges to her. I hold no grudges to Joe Gallagher. I don't hold grudges against anybody. It's just circumstances. So it's at times we don't release. It happens to me, but at the time I was very upset. But I'm not upset anymore. It's just life. It's just life in boxing.
Yeah, all moves on. Tasha hopefully gets a world title one day. She deserves it. She's brilliant on TV. She's a brilliant fighter. She's a brilliant pundit. And I hope when her fighting days end, there's a place for her within Sky or whoever at that point.
I agree.
Because she adds something to women's boxing that I don't think any other woman adds, is my personal view on it.
Right. She smiles even. She's really great. And she's got a nice family, lovely daughter. But the question was, do I regret it? I didn't have any say in it, really.
Yeah.
Other than to demand, I could have demanded money at that point. Could have demanded this. I wrote the money off. I was disappointed that it waited until after I'd spent all the money that it cost me. That was a disappointment. If it had happened the week before, I wouldn't have felt so sore about it at the time, but I did.
Yeah, but life goes on, and everyone's alive and happy, and we're all good.
And it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. We still had the experience of doing it. I had the experience of putting that press conference on, so that was valuable. Had the experience of dealing with trying to negotiate the deal with her, with Hearn. Had the experience of doing it. It's great. It was all part of the learning curve.
Yeah. There we go. Right. So we'll be back next week with some more details about Ring Talk Live. Those people I've mentioned, get in contact. We'll sort out some details when we've worked them out. And we're kind of waiting on Joshua, Hearn and Fury to sort their stuff out, and then we'll sort our stuff out.
Exactly.
That's our excuse anyway.
Exactly that. Cheers,
right.
Martin.
Enjoy Cornwall for the rest of the week, and we'll catch up next week. Take care, mate.
See you later. Bye.